The Psychopathology of Everyday Life is a book written by Sigmund Freud, first published in 1901. And this looks at the psychopathology of everyday life. In this second section, or the second part of the discussion on Gandhi and the Marx-Freud Möbius, the psychopathology of Ahimsa. We don't look at the psychopathology of everyday life. We instead look at the psychopathology of everyday politics, at the psychopathology of politics or the political, the concept of the political, the psychopathology at the heart of the concept of the political that is supposed to liberate us, cure us, free us, empower us. That very concept, is there something psychopathological in that concept? And this is to bring Freud to the political. It is not to ask whether psychoanalysis is political. It is to ask whether the political can stand up to the psychoanalytic question or the psychoanalytic questioning, a Freudian, Lacanian interrogation of the political. And that is how this title comes to the second section, the psychopathology of everyday politics. This takes me to two texts. The Concept of the Political by Carl Schmitt, and The Beast and the Sovereign, Volume 1 and Volume 2 by Jacques Derrida. And when we look at the psychopathology of politics, we also get to see that it is not enough to politicize psychology or politicize psychoanalysis, which is the usual demand on psychology and psychoanalysis. And the assumption behind the demand is that the political is fine. You just have to add the political to psychology or psychoanalysis. You just have to make psychology and psychoanalysis political. But what is so right about the political? Is there something pathological in the political? What is the psychopathology of everyday politics? That question is rarely asked. And this is a kind of question that cultural psychology could ask to the political. What is the culture of the political? What is the hidden culture of the political? What is hidden behind the culture of the political? So culturalize the political and see how the political could have conservative culturalisms or cultural conservatisms. Political psychology of Ashish Nandy and political psychoanalysis, which I would like to foreground, both ask this question to the political or to politics. It asks the psychological, psychoanalytic question to the political and tells the political to look at the mirror It urges the political to look at its mirror of being, maybe even the cultural mirror of being, and think of a new becoming, a new canvas of becoming. Can that very mirror in which the political sees its psychopathology become uh, something new, something other than what it is, as Foucault suggests? And the political then, in that very same mirror, uh, sees the canvas of a new becoming. The mirror becomes a canvas for a new becoming. And this is precisely what Gandhi is doing. He's looking at the political. He's not only using the political, he's not deploying the political, he's not only putting the political to practice. He's interrogating the political, he's questioning the political. Like Girindra Shekhar Bose questioned the concept of repression, he's questioning the concept of the political. And is asking a question to the political, urging the political to look at its own psychopathology in the mirror, and then find in the same mirror a canvas. The mirror is also a canvas for us. So we redraw ourselves in the mirror of being. So can the political find in its mirror of being the canvas of a new becoming? And that is the question Gandhi is asking to the political. So Gandhi is not merely political, he is rethinking the concept of the political. And in that sense, he is questioning Schmidt's concept of the political. A concept of the political which is sometimes coterminous with the concept of the state, sometimes coterminous with the concept of violence, sometimes coterminous with the concept of the friend-enemy binary. The problem is exacerbated by the fact that the concept of the state presupposes the concept of the political. In one way or another, the political is generally juxtaposed to the state, or at least is brought into relation with it. The state thus appears as something political, the political as something pertaining to the state. And the second problem is the reduction of the political to the friend-enemy binary in both their concrete and existential sense, as also as metaphors and symbols, but more so in their concrete and existential sense, because then there is violence on the enemy. There is concrete violence on the enemy, on the state of exception. And is there then at the heart of the political what Derrida calls a lycology? A lycology, a logic of the wolf, a logic of wolfing, a wolfing of the political. And is there a hidden lycology in the political? This takes us to the last part of this section. And I just take the first line of the paper, the title, what if one needs to cure oneself of is the cure? We have been told that the political is the cure for social ills, social evils, social disease. DIS hyphen EASC, or social suffering. So the political is on the one hand diagnostic, on the other hand curative. So the medical metaphor is active in the thinking of the political. So the political would first diagnose oppression, exploitation, marginalization, and then the political will cure us. The political will cure, but do we need to rethink the cure the political is offering? Is it offering healing? Can we rethink the political as healing, as true healing, as cure of an unbearable inner condition? So the political is not the power to be gained, is not to capture power, but to heal, but to cure, but to cure, heal us of an unbearable inner condition. As also to show where there is a secret or an unconscious complicity of opponents, where there is a clandestine complicity of opponents, where opponents are actually on the same side of violence, or the same side of the state, or statism, or the same side of the friend-enemy binary. How there is a clandestine complicity in opponents and of opponents. We end up speaking the same language. We end up speaking the language of the proposition, even in our opposition to it. And here, Lacan's caution is very, very, very relevant. You are looking for a master, and you are probably going to find one. So we will question the master's discourse, but then rebirth in our opposition, in our clandestine complicity, the master's discourse again, master's discourse version 1, and then master's discourse version 2. So the political hence needs to be rethought, and we need to perhaps cure ourselves of the cure. So and this is Deleuze and Guattari, who in Anti-Oedipus makes this somewhat fundamental and radical suggestion. It's not just enough to think what constitutes our sickness today. It is also important to equally think, equally remain attentive to what are the cures that are being offered, what are the vaccines that are being offered, what are the medicines that are being offered, what are the magic pills that are being offered as cure. And in developmentalism, we have offered multiple cures, which have multiple medicines, multiple magic pills, which have most often turned out to be poison, to be deadly, actually. So in that sense, the more radical question today is to cure us of the cure, and that is important. So anti-colonial nationalism against British colonialism and British imperialism was seen as the cure. But Gandhi's critique is not just of colonialism, which is the dis-ease, but of the anti-colonial canvas, which is the purported cure. So Gandhi would question the violence of anti-colonial nationalism. Gandhi would question the giving in to Western ideals, modern ideals, British ideals, white ideals, question the chasing of white British modern Western ideals, even in the anti-colonial canvas, even in anti-colonial nationalism or the anti-colonial political party, Gandhi would see a problem. So Gandhi doesn't just question sickness, which is colonialism. Gandhi also questions the cure, which is the anti-colonial canvas, especially the violence and the friend-enemy division of the anti-colonial canvas. This primarily happens in Gandhi because Gandhi rethinks the friend-enemy distinction, the friend-enemy binary, the friend-enemy opposition, the simple division between friend and enemy, the simple division between inside and outside, included and excluded. Gandhi problematizes such simple divisions. And as he problematizes such simple divisions, we can suggest, of course, in today's language, in Lacanian language, an arrival at the Möbius strip, the inside lending to the outside and the outside lending to the inside. The Möbius strip, the Möbius band as problematizing inside, outside, included, excluded, friend-enemy divisions. And here Michel Foucault's line becomes very important. How does one keep from being fascist, even especially when one believes oneself to be a revolutionary militant? How does one not become fascist when one thinks one is revolutionary, one is radical, one is political, one is liberating, one is curing? And in that sense, on one side of the Möbius is the fascism within us, the fascism within the one who considers oneself a member of the anti-colonial canvas. And is there then some residual humanity even in the British, even in the colonizer? So this problematizes the colonized binary or divide and looks for the fascism within the colonized, even when the colonized is revolutionary, and looks for the residual humanity in the colonizer. And in that sense, Gandhi offers a new theory of the human beyond good and evil. A new theory of the human beyond the simple distinction friend-enemy. The enemy within is the fascism within. And the friend in the purported enemy is the residual humanity in the enemy. And in this theory of the human, there is no place or very little place for violence. This theory of the human births Gandhi's philosophy or praxis of Ahimsa.